This is Hannibal here, wearing my Hannibal sweater here to do my daily wrestling news update. And you need a sweater today here in Canada, as it's about -9 out there where I am right now in Ottawa, Canada. But I'll digress and get into the news. WWE recorded their last taping at the Amway Center in Orlando last night for Raw, which was down to a 0.51 rating. They are moving to Tampa at the big field there, the Tampa Devil Rays field in Tampa, Florida. There will still be no crowds for now, even though in Florida, as we've seen with Dynamite, they are allowing crowds. CM Punk and Renee Paquette, who was formerly known as Renee Young, they were both on that failed WWE backstage show that was canceled together, and they did a podcast together. And according to the Wrestling Observer, Punk made these following comments. Sorry, I'm suddenly becoming a ring announcer. Made these comments. Basically, he's open to wrestling again if the right story is presented to him or a huge amount of money. Now, he wasn't getting good ratings on WWE Backstage, and you could say that was a flop because it didn't even last a year. It only lasted about 6 months before being canceled. So I don't know what his drawing power is. He had 2 very poor performances in UFC. The second one against a guy that hasn't fought since. So the guy that he beat the second time was actually a member of the media. He was also a 0-1 fighter. And he hasn't fought again since then. And Dana White says that second fight CM Punk was in wasn't even fit to be on Fight Pass, which is their streaming service that showcases independent MMA organizations. So I don't think his value is what it was, but at the same time, he does have a name because wrestling was more popular in the days when he was getting his big push compared to where it is now. So he would still be a bigger star, really, than most people in AEW or WWE right now, because they're, let's see, who do they have in AEW that are stars, really? Not that many. That's why they're having to bring in 90s stars from basketball to try and pop ratings. And Tony Khan, as I mentioned in the headline here, if you remember, and I'm not hating on him for this, I just find it funny that when AEW was starting a little over a year ago, he was being quoted in all the interviews saying that we wouldn't see him on an on-camera role and so forth. And now he's doing an on-camera role in the feud that they're doing with Impact now to try and get their ratings up. So they're partnering with a 0.05 company to try and boost ratings. So maybe they'll get some of that 0.05 audience to also watch AEW. But he is an on-camera character now. So I find it funny that he only lasted a little over a year before becoming a character. And I saw that on Twitter. He was in a vignette that aired on Impact, similar to NWO, where AEW is doing a paid advertisement on Impact. One other thing I forgot to mention, and I do agree with CM Punk on this, he was asked about wrestlers potentially forming a union. And he said, quote, "No, and just because there is no such thing as the boys. It's a trope," he says. "Oh, we're on the road and these people are our families. But once you're out of the bubble, you don't hear from anybody anymore. These people don't pay your bills. There's always going to be a handful of people that will undercut everyone else just to get ahead a little bit. There seems to be a lot of people that not only by nature are bootlickers, they also just love the taste, end quote. So I will agree with CM Punk on that. We always hear about the WWE family. All right, WWE, Billy Graham holds the record for most consecutive sellouts, main eventing Madison Square Garden, 19 out of 20. Where are you now? You're putting out toys of him, but he has a GoFundMe for the cancer issues that he's dealing with right now and other health issues. Is he not part of the family? He was under contract until September. I guess once you're not under contract, that's like a divorce. You're not in the family anymore, and you can just let that cancer spread, and we're not going to help you, for instance. Or all your friends backstage that will stab you in the back to get ahead. There might be a very slim few that won't, but wrestling is a cutthroat business, and I cannot stand it personally. I fully agree with CM Punk there. So you know what? Maybe I would get along with him somewhat. He's won me over a bit with this comment that this is serious. It's not a big family like Drew McIntyre never shuts up about. We're all friends and family back there. Bullshit.